Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Marty.
I'm not Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas. Once again, with my chicken wings.
It's Tuesday night, it's 10 p.m., it's Wrestling Insiders at your house. Wrestling fans, the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive explodes into Christmas with 12 featured superstar guests. We can't bring you a live wrestling event due to COVID restrictions, but we'll be bringing you a series of cyber signings and meet and greets. On Friday night, December the 4th, fans around the corner and around the world can join a man involved in an intercontinental title scandal as Savio Vega, as well as the man under the mask, is martial arts expert Quang, joins us for a live cyber autograph signing here at MWF Studios. Get a personalized autograph photo from Savio, signed live on the air and mailed to your home. Join us now through mid-December as the superstars help us continue our mission to update Santa Claus's GPS to find every kid's house this Christmas and put smiles on faces while honoring Paul Bearer's memory. VIP packages are still available. Don't worry, if you've missed a live superstar signing, every star is signing enough photos while they're here in Boston to fill VIP packages through December the 19th. Whether for your wrestling collection or to give as a holiday gift, if you're going to take part in any toy drive this year, please help our 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. Visit BostonWrestling.com and our social media platforms for complete event and toy drive information.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Marty.
I'm not Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas. Once again, with my chicken wings.
It's Tuesday night, it's 10 p.m., it's Wrestling Insiders at your house. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to another Wrestling Insiders. Tony is still eating, which is really to no one's surprise. It's almost like saying the sky is blue. And Tony's got some chicken wings.
Got my chicken wing, baby.
On Boston Wrestling.
On Boston Wrestling.
All right, Tony, we got a lot of questions that have been pouring in from the fans around the corner, around the world. Your thoughts on the passing of Tracy Smothers recently? I don't know, Tracy Smothers.
Oh. Didn't know him.
You didn't know him well.
I hear things about him. I didn't know him.
Well, it was very unfortunate to lose.
It wasn't good either.
You didn't hear good things about Tracy.
I hear he didn't like black people.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess
I don't know.
You don't know for sure because you never met him. You knew very little of
other
him.
black African-American wrestlers told me stories about Tracy Smothers.
Well, he was...
One of the guys that really told me some bad stuff was Bobo Brazil Jr.
Bobo Brazil Jr.?
Yeah.
And what did he say about Tracy?
Well, you know, Tracy all rode that Confederate flag. Remember that?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, he was all into all this. But in wrestling, they had a lot of guys like Tracy Smothers, Dick Murdoch, all these, you know, I wouldn't say they're racist. I don't want to use that term because I don't.
The R word.
Yeah, but white supremacy personality. Let's put it that way. And it wasn't just on the white side, too. That we had guys like Bad Cat White, guys that very anti-white, you know, black guys, you know, that blamed the white man for everything went wrong in their life and thought all white people was racist. And, you know, even when I took my wife to the WrestleMania, when I got inducted, I heard a little comment from black guys, young black guys, where you get that old white bitch? Well, this is my wife you're talking about, you know?
Who said that, Tony?
I don't want to call his name because he just got killed.
Oh.
Yeah, he died. He drowned.
Well,
I leave it like that. He drowned. And he went out to
He
save
said, where did you find that old
white bitch?
Old white bitch? Really?
The woman that saved my life. Now, he's black. So I heard it on both sides of the fence. So when I get her talking about racism and people's thoughts on other races. It's not. See, people only look at it as being a white thing. It's not. It's not really a white thing because I knew a lot of people that just have the. And Tracy, as far as I know, I've always heard about how he felt about black people. I mean, I met his daughter. She's a wonderful, wonderful young girl.
You met Tracy Smothers' daughter?
Yeah.
Where did you meet her?
I was at a convention in where was at? Not a convention, but a wrestling show in. I want to say, was it in Virginia or West Virginia?
Yeah.
In that area. This was years ago. It was a guy called Shady, and he used to run shows.
Shady.
Shady, and he used to run shows out there, Bluefield, West Virginia, and she was on the show in Bluefield.
Oh, she was a worker.
Yeah, she wrestled. Yeah, Tracy's daughter was a wrestler. I don't know how old she is now. She's probably about 40 years old now. But, and then I saw her again at another convention. At a convention when I worked with her. She came up and said hi to me and wanted to take a picture. Very, very polite.
You don't want to cover your mic, Tony.
Huh?
You don't want to cover your mic with that hoodie. There you go.
And so every black wrestler that ever came in contact with Tracy told me his feelings towards blacks.
Oh.
So,
well, that's
but I never
unfortunate.
met. I don't know him personally. I mean, I seen him. I say hi to him. I was at a thing in Allentown. There was a guy they called Bud Carlson, and he had a thing in Allentown. We did a signing. Rocky was living there back then, and Rocky said some stuff about Tracy Smothers, but Rocky knew him better than I did. But
Rocky said that Tracy was. He insinuated that Tracy was racist.
Yeah.
Well, that's
that he had
unfortunate.
racist views.
Oh, well,
Because
Tony.
he never talked to me. Tracy never said 2 words to me. He'd look at me and just walk away. He never said 2 words to me.
Not even hello.
Not even hello.
He'd just ignore you. Really?
Never talked
So
to
there
me.
are.
His daughter did,
The daughter did.
but he never. So ain't nothing I can tell you about Tracy Smothers because I don't even know what his voice sound like.
Really?
He never said nothing to me. He walked by me like I was invisible. Every time we was anywhere on any event. Like I said, I only met him about 5 times my whole life, and all 5 times, when I picture him in my head, with that big Confederate flag on his back, yep, and his uniform, and he was really into that. He was one of these old people that believe the South going to rise again.
Almost like on Viagra. But Tony,
Yeah.
the fans, I don't know if this is going to be a sensitive subject, but since the fans continue to ask, I feel like I have to ask. You have had a few remarks you've made on the show, sleight of hand, so to speak, about one of the co-hosts of this program, the man that joins us every Thursday night at 10 p.m., Marty Jannetty, Tony.
Right.
They want to know why you don't like Marty Jannetty all of a sudden. A man that speaks highly of you.
I told you.
Well, what is the reasoning behind it?
He's racist.
But why do you think, as someone that knows Marty, I don't feel that about him.
I
But
do.
I'm not. But I can't look at it from your point of view, respectively.
Yeah.
But why do you feel that?
I could feel it.
Just as someone that has had personal conversations with him, has dined with him, I don't feel it. He has a great love.
Because you white.
Well, I'll tell you this: he has a great sexual attraction towards black women. But does that mean anything? I don't know. I don't know your point of view.
I'm gonna keep getting into it. I made my observation, and that's just how I feel. And nothing gonna ever change it. Once I know who you are by things you say and do. You know.
Well, I know.
When Kamala died, and Kamala Harris became president, you told me what he did. I told you right then when you told me what he did, I said, that's racist.
But it wasn't something he made. He just posted it.
I know.
Okay. Well, I'll always respect your opinion.
Yeah,
You've walked the life I have.
How many dead white wrestlers he did that to?
Fair enough. Well, he did dress up Joe Biden as Kim Chi.
Right. Yeah, Joe Biden with King who?
Kim Chi, the little guy with the... Remember how Kamala had the manager, Steve Lombardi, under the mask? Kim Chi? Well, they dressed up Joe Biden as Kim Chi.
Kim Chi is what?
White.
White.
Yeah.
You sure?
Well, Steve Lombardi's white, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Lombardi is Kim Chi. Who is Kim Chi?
Steve Lombardi primarily played him.
He played Kim
Remember
Chi?
Kamala had a handler with a mask that would kind of
Oh,
tell him
yeah,
what
yeah.
to do?
That Kim
That
Chi?
was yeah, that was his name.
Is that what they
Kim
used to
Chi.
call him?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Oh.
Or maybe I knew it and I forgot. There's a lot of stuff that I forgot.
Well, in the picture he came across, I imagine it had to have been a wrestling fan. They dressed up Joe Biden as Kim Chi, and they took Kamala Harris's head and they put it on James Harris's body. Mm-hmm. And again, I can't look at it from your point of view because I'm not black, obviously. But you think that's racist. Mm-hmm. Now, why though? Can you explain that? Because maybe make me understand.
Well,
smarten me up, because I don't get it.
Okay. It's either racism or stupidity.
Okay.
Black people in America did not become Americans until the 14th Amendment. We were considered as livestock, like a horse, a cow. The only difference between a black person and a horse was the horse got treated better. That was the only difference. He got better care. Then we went through segregation. And every time, a black person getting into, and they try to use this politics, bullshit. Every time a black person, because I look at all the white people that got in that position, every time a black person get into a high office, here come the crap.
Barry Soetoro.
Here comes, well, Obama, number one. I mean, come on.
Well, that's
now.
what I mean. They came out that his name was
That's
supposedly
what I'm trying to say. I mean,
Soetoro.
everything to make this person look bad.
Degrade
Before they give him a chance. Give the woman a chance first. And you don't take a dead wrestler, a dead black wrestler, to make fun of a black woman that is the first. She's the first. See, we want something as black people, something to be proud of. You know, we watch TV, we see the gangbangers. We see the criminals. They broadcast that all day long. Very rarely the black kids grow up with something black that they can look up to. Say Martin Luther King. He was the last of the Mohegans for us. He was somebody that represented us in a very good way. Very good way. He didn't cheat on his wife, he had no scandals, he had nothing. So why are you picking on Martin Luther King? Why are you picking on Obama? And then it says his policy. What's wrong with having health care? What's wrong with infrastructure? I looked at his policy. I didn't see what was so bad about his policy. It was not his policy. It was that fact that a black guy is sitting in a freaking office. They can't handle that. They couldn't handle that. It was Obama color. And I don't care what anybody say. I would go to my grave believing that because I followed his whole career. Well, I got a house because of Obama. He fixed it so people that of low income could buy homes. What's bad about that?
Nothing.
Michelle Obama wanted people up. Almost 30% of teenagers is diabetic. Almost 30% is diabetic. Michelle Obama wanted to have the schools give kids more healthy choices.
And exercising.
And exercise to take care of their body to reduce the one of the highest costs in America that costs all the taxpayers a lot of money is health care.
Keep them healthy young.
Keep them healthy, then you don't have to pay all that money for health care. Because I'd rather pay for this kid to eat salary than to pay for this kid to get insulin shots.
Right.
The insulin shots cost a hell of a lot more than them carrots do. Yeah. You know, so they were trying to do things. When I see a black person trying to do good and get criticized.
Do you think, though?
Because she's the first. So I'm proud of that. My mother was a black woman. As a black man, I'm very proud to see black people rise up and carry themselves not to jail, not to the penitentiary. I mean, you know, like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, I ain't got no time for them guys, you know, because to me, they self gratification. They have self-gratification.
They're marking out for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. But you know, you take a person like Kamala Harris and Barack Obama getting criticized, you know, and we make a very small percentage, and there's very few black people outside of athletes and singers, entertainers, that is not in the entertainment business. Now, we got a lot of people that we proud of in the entertainment business and in the sports world, but when it comes to things that make a difference, like Michael Jordan, a great basketball player, but his basketball ain't gonna make no difference in any person's life. See, Mike Tyson, a hell of a fighter, make no difference in anybody's life. Kamala Harris is something that black girls could look up to. Her and Serena Williams. You got to look at, before you started knocking people down, you got to look at the role they travel.
But do you think
it's so insensitivity? It's kind of like me being insensitive to those that went through the Holocaust. I started making fun of the first Jewish president. The first Jewish president. Every Jewish person in the world is going to be very, very happy. Like when Kennedy became the first Catholic president. Every Catholic in the world, that make every Catholic proud. So how in the hell you think you're going to badmouth a good black woman, a good, strong black woman, and think that people ain't going to think that about you? Now, I understand if she did something that to cause that type of animosity, you know, if she done something to cause that type of animosity, if Barack Obama had done something to cause that animosity, just like Vince McMahon came to me and said, Tony, I got to make what do you call it, an example of you. And I look at all the white wrestlers and all they done. Hacksaw and Sheik getting busted for drug use on the freaking interstate and made money. Piper getting in trouble, made money. Hogan almost cost him his fucking company, and he made money. Tony missed a couple of shows, and his whole freaking career was destroyed. Tito Santana told me himself, said, Tony, if you was white, you would have never got fired. Tommy Rich said, Tony, if you was white, they would have made you champion. Yes, I made a few mistakes, but not as many as those that he made money afterward. My color had a lot to do with that. I don't try to use that. You know, I really don't. You know me. Mm-hmm. I don't bank it on that. I didn't even put that in my book. But I'm getting old now. It's about time for me to be honest about things. When you attack Kamala Harris, what the fuck did she ever do to him?
Do you think that maybe it was a poor attempt at humor as opposed to racism?
No, what's in the dark will soon come to the light. Every man got a fascination for women. Dick Murdoch screwed black women. He was a Klansman. When it comes to that little split, brother, nobody care what color it is. See, it's all pink on the inside.
Those are the things that are above my head because I've never had to walk in your shoes. I've never had to walk in your shoes.
It's all pink on the inside. See,
I'm not talking about sex. I just mean racism in general. I've never had to walk in your shoes.
Why you don't want to talk about sex, Dan? You don't get none no more?
You'd have to talk to Linda about that.
No, my point is...
Usually it was every other Friday on payday.
Well, see, I grew up among racism. And I figured, yeah, you can attack a person when they do something wrong. What did Kamala ever do to him?
There is nothing
to cause him to mock that man deceased.
Well, again, he just posted it. He didn't make it.
It don't matter.
All right. Is there anything he could say to explain himself?
No.
For you to feel different?
No.
All right. Well, I will say this.
No. I lived my whole life not knowing Marty Jannetty. You know how many times me and Marty talked in my whole life?
I have no idea.
Maybe about twice.
He holds you in high regard.
I talked to that man maybe twice my whole freaking life.
Well,
twice.
I guess he enjoyed those conversations.
I saw him over 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I was there with him and Shawn Michael broke the kid's neck.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, you know how long I've been knowing him, man? And he only spoke to me twice his whole fucking life. He spoke to me one time when I was working for him. And he spoke to me another time at a convention. Twice. in 20 years.
So even in the locker rooms in WWE,
Never
he
said a
wouldn't come
word
over
to
and
me.
give you the
Never,
shake?
never said a word to me. Never.
I thought that was customary. You had to give everybody the shake every night.
Never said a word to me. Ask him. He can't remember one conversation he had with me. Ask him next time you see him.
Well, let me,
not one.
Let
Just
me
when
ask
I
you this
go by. He go by and talk to all the white wrestlers. He ain't never had no time for no black wrestler.
Let me ask you a side question now. Was it not customary back then that every night
It
at every
was.
event?
I just said yes, but not
Really?
to me. It wasn't. Blacks didn't get treated like all the other wrestlers. They showed themselves. I kept my mouth shut.
See, these are the things I don't know.
Because you wasn't there.
I never walked in your shoes.
You wasn't there. See, what I think I go by, one time I was riding with a wrestler called Don Serrano. His name was Puerto Rican. But Don Serrano was only about 5'4". So he had these damn wrestling boots. How he wrestled him, I don't know.
Pretty high.
But at least 3-4 inches.
Yeah.
So when he walked in the ring, he went from 5'4" to about 5'7". But he the one that taught me how to drive. He had a Cadillac, and at nighttime, he used to get in the passenger seat, he'd get in the car, and he would teach me how to drive the car.
You didn't know how to drive until you got to Puerto Rico?
No, he was in Charlotte.
Oh,
he was a Puerto Rican
okay,
wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah,
he was a Puerto Rican
his
wrestler.
nationality was Puerto Rican, but it was in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I first started the business. So George Scott booked with me. He said, I want one of you guys to teach Tony how to drive because he got to become independent. They told me only 3 things, when I first started, only 3 things you needed in this business. Transportation, a phone, and your wrestling gear, boots and trunk. That's all you needed when I first started. I had everything but a car. I didn't know how to drive. So George Scott was going to sell me his wife's car. And I remember it was a 74 Delta 88 was my first car, Delta 88. And George Scott was going to just take $100 a week out of my check to pay for the car.
Fair enough.
So he said, but Tony, you got to learn how to drive and get your license. You can't drive this car. He said, I'm going to leave the insurance. My wife got the car is insured, and the insurance is paid up for the rest of this year. At the end of the year, you got to get your own insurance. He said, but you got to learn how to, you can't drive it without license. So I had to learn how to drive. So Don Serrano helped me to drive. If any of his family out there listening, you know, Don probably told them stories 100 times. So we rode together the whole week. At the end of the week, guys were making fun of him for wearing these platform wrestling boots. So I started making fun of his boots too. George Scott, who was my mentor, and was really, I would say, my father. I always called George Scott my father. And if he was alive today, if you said, Tony, he would say, you mean my son? Because he knew I grew up without a father, and it was that voyage in me that I needed a father. So he pulled me to the side and said, Tony, I thought you and Dom got along pretty good. I said, we do. I said, I like Dom. He said, why are you making fun of him? I said, well, I'm just trying to be one of the boys. He said, look, Dom may have a problem with this guy. He may have a problem with this guy. But as long as he don't have a problem with you, you go by how he treats you or how you get along with him, not how he get along with others. You see? So from that day on, I started doing that. I was the type of guy, I would laugh and joke and act silly and make people think I don't know what's going on, but the whole time I go on. I was the type of guy I'd never let my right hand know what my left hand is doing. That's how I got along. Like I could ride with Murdoch, and Murdoch would tell me about how blacks shouldn't be voting, how blacks should stay in their place, and how women was the C word and arena rats and all this stuff. And I just sat there, yeah. I went along to get along. But then as I got older, I started learning, I started picking up on things. Yeah. Things that most people would overlook. I would pick up on that. And I would say, wait a minute now, how come he's doing that about the black wrestler, but not the white wrestler that did worse? How come they're doing this about this guy, but not this guy that did worse?
Very valid point.
Picture this in your head. Imagine Barack Obama coming out talking like Trump. How would white people think about Obama? What would white people say about Obama?
It would be outrage.
See?
It would be outrage.
Trump could get away with that because he's white. The Thunderbolt pilots have told me, said, Tony, You can't do what these white guys do and keep a job. When I saw Thunderbolt about, when was it? I want to say 5-6 years ago. We was at a convention. What that Rasicades they have in Charlotte?
Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Yep,
and I told Thunderbolt, I said, Bolt, I remember what you told me about. I can't do what white people do. He said, am I wrong? He said, was I wrong? I said, no, you're not wrong. Example, we see it on TV every day. Black kid get shot, got no weapon. White kid shoot 2 people, walk down the street in front of the police with an NR-15, and they wave him by. Now, what if that was a black kid coming down that street with an NR-15 strapped around his freaking neck? What do you think them cops would have done?
Bye-bye.
An NR-15.
Bye-bye.
You saw that on TV?
I saw it, yeah.
Come on now.
And he came interstate, I believe.
Yeah, he came from another state.
Yeah.
And now they defending him. Say he was self-defense. He came from another state, went to the protest with an he brought the NR-15 with him.
To a protest,
He loaded for barrel when he got there. Now imagine a black guy doing that.
Bye-bye.
Black guy can't even reach for his freaking, what you call it, ID without getting shot.
Well,
some black kid mentally ill, got a knife, 3 cops surrounding them. Another black guy, even though he resisted or whatever, get choked to death for 9 freaking minutes.
Well, we don't want to turn this into a political show, Tony, but you make some great points. You make great points.
These are things we have to look at. It's called survivor. Once I see that you got that tendency about you, I'm cautious of you. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't hate Marty. I don't dislike him. I don't know him. He's a complete stranger to me.
Is there anything he could do to make peace with you?
No.
There is nothing he could do?
No. It's dangerous for me. Because if I overlook his insensitivity towards the struggle of black people, I would find myself doing it with others. And then I'm going to do it with one person that's going to cost me my life.
So let me ask you one more question about it. Just again,
you see, it's nothing against Marty. I don't want him to be the center of attention. I do this for a lot of people, but they don't know it. The only reason Marty know it because you told him. And I mentioned on TV. I feel that way about a lot of people. A lot of people. Because I pick up on their insensitivity towards something.
If you were to
do... Just like when at Sandy Hook, all them kids got killed. Nobody was sensitive, showed any sensitivity. They had a sensitivity of a grapefruit towards them kids.
I don't know how you can say that.
I'm telling you what I hear and what I see. That's all I can go by.
I couldn't believe that day, and I remember it vividly. But the only thing
they was worrying about is restriction on guns. Nothing else.
One party was, yeah.
No, what do you mean what? I didn't hear nobody say anything about anything else. Except for the mothers and the fathers of these kids were the only ones speaking out about something. But if your child was not in that school, ain't nobody in my opinion, nobody gave a shit. They was more concerned about restriction on guns.
They turned it into a political discussion.
It was where the politicians, they go along with what the public want. That's what the public wanted. The public was more afraid of losing an NR-15, one gun.
Than all those poor
than all
kids.
Them kids. That one gun meant more than all them dead kids. They don't care if they kid get shot long, they got an NR-15.
One more point, a question/point I want to make. Let's say you knew, for whatever the reason, with 100% conviction, that Marty, what he did was just an attempt at poor humor. Do you think maybe it could be a learning opportunity for him?
Nope, he's too old now. It's in him. Brother, you can't change.
I'm asking you.
No, you can't. It's in him. It's been in him. He just don't know it. There's a lot of people that is racist that they don't know they're racist. Every racist don't realize it. But I'll give you a prime example of what racism is. Prime example. White guy rob a bank, shoot somebody. Black guy rob a bank, shoot somebody. Black guy get the death penalty. White guy get 25 years. They did the same thing.
It all goes to the nut house.
They all. You ever notice there's not one black person on this earth that could use the defense or mentally.
Insanity. Yeah.
They can't use it. There's no way on God's green earth that anybody gonna listen to a black man saying that he's insane. A white guy, every time they shoot somebody, every mass murderer that is white, the first thing they say on TV, I'm just going by what I see now. I'm not making this shit up. You can't make this up. Or we need to work on mental illness. Wait a minute now. This guy was rich, popular, able to have enough money to buy all them damn guns, go to a country in Western thing, and shoot a bunch of people. Now, what if a black guy do that?
You're talking about Vegas.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He got the excuse.
I'm surprised more people didn't die with that.
That's what I'm trying to say.
situation.
And then they excuse him by saying, "Oh, he was unstable. You can't blame him."
Yeah.
You can't blame him. Here's how it is on the media. Now, the media sometimes gets on your nerve. I hear a lot of people talk about the media. Then Trump talk about the media. In a lot of ways, Trump is right. Black guy get in trouble. He's a hoodlum, criminal. You know, Arab guy, he's a terrorist. White guy, he's mentally ill. And this is what we see every day. And people got comfortable in their skin with being racist, and then you can always tell a racist.
How?
They would tell you they're not. I'm not racist.
I don't feel I am.
If you have to tell me.
I don't think I am.
But what I'm saying,
okay,
that's how black people, I'm telling you how, from the black point of view, once you tell a black person I'm not racist, he know you're racist.
Well, you know what? We're running
because if you're not, you don't have to tell them. Like when I first went in the ring, I used to pose, you know, and I used to try to act like Thunderbolt. Johnny Weaver, you love it, don't you? Johnny Weaver came to me and said, "Tony, there's two things you never have to tell the people." And I said, "What is that?" He said, "Number one, that you got muscles, and number two, that you're black." He said, "They know that when you come through the door, so you don't have to tell them."
One more.
So when you tell me I'm not racist, to me you're trying to hide something. You're trying to convince yourself.
Trying to hide something.
Because you're not convincing me. You're just trying to convince yourself that you're not.
Maybe I'm going to ask you to job me out here, Tony. But you said you had maybe one or two conversations with Marty in the time you've been wrestling.
Not long conversations.
Right, okay.
Kind of like a high and a by.
I have had extensive conversations with
right,
this
you
man
know him
right
better
now.
than I do. And I've been knowing him longer. Now, what that tell you?
Right, but the point I'm going to make is this. I don't get that feeling from him. What is it that I'm missing?
Because
I'm white?
Because he acts different around you. That's why.
You think if I was black, he'd act different towards me?
Of course. You'd be like me, knowing somebody for 20 years, had 2 conversations. And them conversations were less than 5 minutes. So my whole dealing with Marty Jannetty is about 10 minutes in 20 years. So that's 1 minute a year. No, 30 seconds a year.
I'm going to ask you one personal favor before we go. All I want to do, and I can't do it right now, obviously, but I want to forward you the text message that he sent me about you. Would you be willing to read it at least? You won't? All right. Well, I tried.
Nope. I'm done.
All right.
When I'm done with you, I'm done.
I respect you enough not to.
Yeah.
I was just interested to see your thought on it.
Done with it. Done with it.
Well,
I mean, he never had no time for me in the past. Hello? See, you missed the whole thing. That if people out there listening,
I'm paying attention to everything you're saying.
Look, you knew him less time than I did. Mm-hmm. Okay? You had more conversation, more everything with him in a shorter time. I've been knowing this guy since 1990 and talked to him 30 seconds, if we add up the time, 30 seconds, I would say 10 seconds a week. I mean, when I'm around you that much time,
yeah,
and you just walk by me,
like you don't exist.
Yeah.
So I wonder why he said to me, why he's had so many complimentary things to say about you to me.
Because he know you knew me. He didn't want to get back to me. That's all. It's a work. He's working you. It's all the work.
Well, that's a horrible thing if it's true.
It's a work. They all work.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Like Ric Flair works people. You know, Ric Flair. I saw the interview on the tape. He talked about he was with Brody. He wasn't with no Brody.
I think that's just a bad memory.
No, the boys working you. They all workers. And they would say what needed to be said. Just like me, I did it too. When I was in Texas, I love Texas. I go to Georgia, I love Georgia. I go to Massachusetts, I love, we know how, we workers. A worker is another term, another word for con. We all con. But sometimes you end up showing your hand. Sometimes it may take a year, it may take 10 years, but what's in the dark will soon go light. You will show your hand when something happened. You will show your hands when something happens.
I can only, and I don't know how, but I can only hope that someday you two can at least...
Why?
Because I like you both.
He had 20 years.
You're right. You're not wrong. 30, actually.
30. He had 30 fucking years to be my friend. And he chose not to. And the only reason he be speaking out to me because of what I said. If I had never said what I said, would he be saying anything about me now? No.
Would you mind if I asked him that?
I'd rather, to be honest with you, Dan, I'd rather if you just let it go.
All right.
Let it go.
I respect you, and I've known you 27 years.
If you really want to know how I feel, I don't want to make no enemy with nobody. I said my piece. I don't want to keep going over and over.
Not like Johnny's
because
piece.
Nothing's going to change.
All right, well.
Because what you don't understand
the fans didn't quite understand what had happened.
If I excuse that,
you have to excuse many. Many. I got you.
And one day it's going to cost me my life.
Well, let's...
See, when black people...
Knock on wood. Hope
black
that's never
people,
the case.
everything we do, our lives are at stake. When a policeman pulled me over, my life is dangling on the string right there. Now, there's a lot of good cops. I ain't saying cops are bad. But there's a certain perception that a lot of cops have of black people. They don't know I'm Tony Atlas, Mr. USA. All they see is a big black man. That's all they see. And my response to them, I can't respond to them the way a white person do. I've been known that. Every black man on the freaking earth, our mothers taught us, you know, not to do certain things. You take O.J. Simpson, yes, he probably did kill his wife, but he got more publicity for killing
Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman.
Then another guy got for blowing up half of freaking Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Valid
points. You cannot deny it.
He's the second worst. At that time, it was the worst terrorist act ever done on America's soil, and couldn't get no publicity because they had their attention on, how can that black guy do that? See, that's how you could tell. See, a lot of people got these feelings.
Now, was McVeigh, was that April of '95?
Yeah, same time.
That was in the middle of the trial of O.J.
Same time. And then Robert Blake, right after that.
Oh, yeah? That gets forgotten about. Granted, Robert Blake wasn't O.J. Simpson, but he was still a big star. Yeah.
They tried to use that he was a star as an excuse. So that gave them an excuse to show their racism. Like when you ask people why you don't like Obama, they say their policy. Then you ask this question, well, what policy you didn't like? Well, I don't know what his policy was, but I didn't like. How can you hate something you don't know? See, a lot of times we use excuses to not just white people, black too. It's just people in general. Black, white, Chinese, I don't care what color you are. The color is insignificant. We all use excuses to really show our true colors or how we feel. Now, this is just my personal opinion. I think that everybody in America of all races over the age of 40 is racist. And I was myself
and I just
didn't know
hit the big mark.
But,
so I'm on the bubble?
No, see, we was raised that way. You got to realize up until 1970, we didn't communicate. So black and white and all these different groups and women's and all this stuff, this is the new, it's not the old America. Like when Donald Trump talked about let's make America great again. Great again for who? It wasn't great for me. I couldn't drink from the same water fountain. I couldn't go to a restaurant. You know, it wasn't great for me. It might be great for a lot of white people. It wasn't great for women. It was great for white men, period. And that's our history book. It's not me making it up. You read a history book, it'll tell you. So when you start talking about the good old days, I wasn't part of the good old days.
They weren't so good for you.
They just wasn't. You fucking kidding me? I watched a guy get dragged out of his house and hung right in front of me. I was 11 years old.
Hung?
I was 11 years. Yeah, I was 11 years old.
Down in Virginia.
And then they left it. Yeah, in Virginia. Then they left him hanging there for 2 days. And the only reason they cut him down because the white people got mad about how he smelled. They had to walk by and they didn't like the smell of the rotten bodies there. Yeah, man, I have seen all this shit for years, and I know for a fact that we did not start communicating. I was called nigger so many times in Mid-Atlantic that one time a guy came up and said, "Hey, Tony," and I kept walking. I didn't know who the hell we were talking to. I went through all that, and I went through it with a smile.
Well, I hope that
Yes, and Bob. Yes, and Bob. That's why a lot of the guys, a lot of the black guys didn't like me to call me Uncle Tom. You hear that? Because I took it. I took the racism. I took the humiliation. I took the
those
put down.
comments come up on YouTube sometimes from the fans. They call you an Uncle Tom.
Because I took it. I didn't fight back.
I hope that nothing I've said today has come across as offensive towards you. Because
No,
Okay.
Dan, I know where your heart is, but what I'm trying to say, a lot of things about us, people don't know themselves. See, I came to grip with me when I became homeless. I had to look at me and my participation in my wrongdoing and my right doing. That was the only way I could heal myself for recovering. So in other words, the park for me, becoming homeless, were rehabilitation. So I had to rehabilitate myself, and I had to look into my own soul. Monica is the first white woman I ever dated. Not
Really?
that I'm not attracted to white women. Why is she the first?
I don't know.
I was not attracted to white women. I judged them on their color.
You didn't want to have sex with white women.
They
Really?
want nothing to do with them. They want nothing to do
I
with
don't
them.
want to be too personal, but Monica was the first white woman you were ever with? Really?
And only.
I never knew that.
And only.
I
And
did not
only.
like that we ever had the conversation, but I would have never
The first,
guessed that.
the
knowing
first,
you have-
and the first and only. And then one time I was sitting there talking, and Monica said all herself. She said, "You racist." I said, "No, I'm not." She said, "Yeah, you are." She said, "How come you gonna?" She said, "Yes, you racist." She said, "Because you look at a black woman and you don't think of black women the same as you think of white women. You think we are like diseases, something wrong with us because we white." She said, "You don't want to be with me because I'm white." I said, "Yep, I don't want to be with you because you white." I didn't date her because I didn't want a white woman because they was white. You understand what I'm
It
saying?
wasn't the person.
I was not looking at the person. I was looking at the color of their skin. That's when I had to come to grip with myself.
Interesting.
And Monica was the one that helped me. Really, it was a white woman from Germany that pointed out racism to me. Ain't that something? I lived through it, but I didn't
Welcome to
understand
America.
it. Welcome to America. And she was the one that pointed it out to me because she said, "With all the white women you met, how come you never dated one?" I said, "I don't like white women. I don't. I wouldn't even talk to her." You watch Legend House?
Yeah.
When that white girl came through, what I did every time. Every time. I don't know if you ever
the other
noticed.
way, wouldn't you?
Huh?
Wouldn't you kind of look the other way? Yeah.
You know a lot of people notice that?
I thought you were just trying to be funny.
No,
No.
no, no.
All right. Well,
I was trying to get as far from her as I possibly can. Every white woman I see, I just had this thing against white women. I didn't want nothing to do with them.
well, wrestling fans, this episode.
And then I found out
Huh?
that is racist. If you judge a person by the color of their skin, for whatever reason, like I hear people in Maine, them down Somalians, I said, "Well, how many of you know?" "I don't know, and I don't want to know them." That's racism, because you're judging them on their color.
instead of their personality.
Exactly. Our shop to get out and say, "White America, he's racist." That's racist. Whenever you use a race to stop you from being friend or to stop you from being with somebody, and you're doing it because of the color of their skin, you're a racist. I don't care if you're black or white, you're a racist. But most of us don't see ourselves at that. You listen to how people talk about the Mexicans. We use racist terms. What is an alien? You ever look up in the dictionary?
Right.
is not of this world, which means an alien is not human. And what we call the Mexican people,
Illegal
aliens.
I wonder where that term came from.
Because it's a term used for, it's called dehumanizing a person.
But I mean, I wonder where it came from. Who started using it first?
When they called the Indians savages.
The Indians were referred to as savages?
Savages. Even in the movie, you watch in an old Western, they savages. I watch Gunsmoke all the time. You hear Chester, all of them using that term.
Look, that was
savages.
a good save.
Savages.
Yeah.
You hear that in all the old movies. There was a term we felt comfortable in labeling people as savages. You know, if the person is not of our color, we have no problem labeling this person. My mother said labels go on jars, not on people. See, it's only one race, the human race.
Ah, look at that. Make a wish.
That's the only race. And what got me over, I didn't know I was racist. I didn't know. I didn't. I did not know that I was racist. I thought I got along good. Tommy Rich was my good friend. This was my good friend. I lived with white people. Yeah, you know, and I had a lot of white male friends. But then when it came to the white woman, I couldn't stand the sight of one.
I didn't know that about
until
you until today.
Yeah, my wife Monica did the same thing. And then Monica got me to look at all people as the same. There's people that is biased against Oriental people. There's people that biased against Jewish people. You understand what I'm saying?
Handicapped people.
And handicapped people. Make fun, handicapped people.
Yeah, I hear the comments.
All of that, it falls under the same category. So when you ignore the struggle of a whole race of people, it took us 350 years. It took Kamala Harris almost 400 years to get where she's at. She don't represent Kamala Harris. She represents every black woman and every minority that ever came to this country. Obama didn't represent Obama. He represents every black male in America. And when you look at his presidency and how he carry himself, how he conduct himself, and what he tried to do for this country, he brought the unemployment rate down from 9% to 4%. Got no credit. He helped orchestrate the worst terrorist in American history.
Yeah.
Osama bin Laden. Not a word was spoken. And in fact, they dared him to say something. Dared him. So he better not start running lap. I hear McConnell right now saying, Nick McConnell say that. So he better not take a lap on this. He did not show it. And then on Fox News, the man that shot Osama bin Laden. The man that shot Osama bin Laden. But they do story on Osama bin Laden. They do story on the military and everything. But not nowhere in none of them stories you see who?
Obama. All right, well,
now what if? And I'm
we're running out of time.
Now what if President Trump was in office or Bush was in office?
There would have been a few laps. Couple of victory laps.
They show it to you. They got to. If they don't want me to feel this way, stop showing me.
Don't show you.
Don't show it.
All right, wrestling fans, I have to ask you, what do you think of Tony's thoughts tonight?
They think I'm full of shit, probably.
As we discuss Tracy Smothers and Marty Jannetty, who's with us every Thursday at 10. Leave your comments.
But I said it. That's it.
If you're joining us during the live premiere, put your chat in. If you're watching us after the fact, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. The super chat is open. It helps us keep great legends like Tony working.
I don't know if they want me to work. I know that.
I don't know about that. We got the Patreon rocking and rolling at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling, where you get early, ad-free access to all of Tony's talk shows, all of the other superstars' talk shows, the Studio Shoot Interview DVD library. It's less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. We've got so much going on eBay. We've got the merchandise raffle and all of the cyber signings as part of the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. And Tony, again, is going to be joining us before Christmas. So we're going to have a little Christmas celebration in studio live. It's going to be a lot of fun. For my partner in crime, Mr. USA Tony Atlas, I'm Dan Marati. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours, stay healthy, be well, and hopefully I can get away with saying the C word. Merry Christmas.
No, that's sexist.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Wrestling fans, the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive Cyber Fanfest explodes into Christmas with interactive cyber autograph signings, live interviews, raffles, merchandise, and more. We were excited to bring you a wrestling event here in Boston, but we have the ability to bring a Cyber Fanfest to great fans like you around the world. Recent WWE NXT Cruiserweight Champion Leo Rush kicked off the drive with autograph photos and posters still for sale online. Let's run down the list of remaining cyber autograph signings where you can get an autograph photo for yourself or to give to a friend or a loved one this holiday. Mail order for your items is also available. On Survivor Series Sunday, November the 22nd, Marty Jannetty will be with us live for a cyber autograph signing during the Farewell to the Undertaker. You never know what to expect with Marty in studio live. We're back Friday, December the 4th with the veteran former Nation of Domination member Savio Vega, a.k.a. Quang, making a rare appearance in Boston. Things are going to get nasty on Saturday, December the 5th when Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs, the Nasty Boys, join us for the very first time. A great chance to get the former WWE and WCW Tag Team Champions signed. Sunday night, December the 6th, WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas returns for a Cyber Christmas party during our NXT Takeover Watch Along. Tony will be signing autographs and will also have his art available for purchase. The following Friday, December the 11th, one of the most powerful superstars in wrestling history, the Warlord, joins us live in studio discussing his WWF run beginning in 1988. Saturday, December the 12th, the superstar undefeated for 2 years in the WWF, Native American Tatanka, will be with us supporting the toy drive. Then on Sunday, December the 13th, it's a double feature of future star superstars as recent Ring of Honor Pure Title Tournament competitor Wheeler Yuta joins us in studio for the first time after competing here in Boston Wrestling MWF, along with the man visiting us for the first time in 8 years, the new Impact Wrestling World Champion Rich Swann. And it wouldn't be Christmas without old John Cena Sr. with us live and in person as he's been working the phones on the North Pole. Again, autographs and all-inclusive VIP packages are on sale now at bostonwrestling.com. Help our tradition of updating Santa's GPS to find every kid's home this year while creating smiles and honoring the late, great Paul Bearer's memory. From our family to yours, happy holidays, Merry Christmas.